Cool. So if you guys want to take me through what you guys are having trouble with, or where you guys are at, and give me a bit of rundown on what's going on,
Yeah.
so I can come up with a bit of plan on how we can help.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple of issues, I guess. The main one being that they're quite anxious at home, and because of that, they're quite barky at strangers, and you know, like they are quite like territorial and to the point of like aggression. So I mean, as you can see, they're fine when it's not their space, but when they're at home, it's like particularly bad. So that's one thing. The other thing is that Indy, he's lovely around people.
So this is Indy.
Yeah, with the muzzle.
Yep.
Lovely around people, but he is nippy with dogs.
Okay.
So, for example, when we're going out to walk him or on the beach or something, he lunges, and also we've tried him off the lead with the muzzle on because I felt like he maybe had like leash aggression, and he sprints up, tries to like nip them, and then after that it seems like it's all right, but he's still got some drive to like want to run and nip other dogs, and so like our concern is that obviously, you know, when you've got a dog bounding towards you and you don't know this dog, it's a stranger, not the greatest look, and also I guess we don't know how other dogs will react back to him, so that's the other issue.
There's a couple of things I want to go through initially, just to kind of wrap your guys' head around what's going on and give you guys a bit of an idea on why it's happening, and then we can kind of move forward from what we need to do to kind of make a change. So there's kind of 4 basic instincts and drives that every single dog has, okay, and each dog has a different kind of genetic makeup per se, so they're going to be higher in different aspects. Okay, so these 2 are displaying very high defensive drive, okay. So the defensive drive is generally where the dog will become protective of the house. It, they mark, so he was started to mark a little bit.
Yes, yeah, actually we forgot to mention that he marks a lot.
Okay, displaying very high defensive drive, okay. So the defense drive kind of breaks down into its own different subcategories, which I'm not going to go into, but one of the main ones is resource guarding. Okay, so resource guarding is pretty much first right to limited resource. So that's essentially where the dog feels like it's in control. Okay, so the reason I was asking questions about food and things like that is there's always somebody involved, because a lot of these things that we're starting to see are kind of like entitlement issues. Okay, a lot of entitlement issues are created through, 1, too much affection. I say that in too much affection, it kind of is more like when we do and don't give the dog affection. Okay, so at the moment the dogs are sitting out, facing out from you, and they're kind of asking for affection frequently. So throughout the last 5-10 minutes, I've been kind of counting or taking into account how you're interacting with the dogs, and they're pretty much just coming up going like, give me affection, let me do this. So they're dictating what happens in your relationship at this point. Okay, so that's generally what will bring out that instinct in the dog. The key with when dogs start to display issues like this is 1, consistency. So we set like firm, consistent boundaries. These boundaries can loosen up over time, so it's not like a forever thing, but it's kind of like when you're young and you're kids, right? And we're growing up. Parents set boundaries, they set protocols that we need to follow, and then as we get older, we get freedom and we get to make our own decisions. At the moment, these guys aren't making very good decisions. Okay, so we need to start to make a lot of decisions for them, to coach them and show them what's expected. And one of the easiest ways to do that is the living environment. Okay, so getting them off the furniture, setting boundaries in the house, dictating when we give affection, that's probably where we spend 80% of the time with the dog. Would you guys agree? Yeah. So at the moment, if 80% of it is, say, 80% of that, 20% is some consistency, and 60% it's a little bit touch and go, you can see where that confusion can come in. Okay, and that's 70% of the dog's life. Okay, so we need to get that number closer to, say, 80-20. So let's say 15% freedom and we're being a little bit slack. That's okay. I do it too. That's fine. But we need to get that other number up there. Okay, and one of the really easy ways to do it is we set up what we call a management system. Okay, so we find a way to manage the dogs in the house until their behaviour starts to change. Okay, so the first thing we generally do is involve crates into the training. And the reason for crates is, so for example, I've got a Roddy in the back of my truck. That's kind of like a crate, let's say. The dog is managed at the moment. I don't need to worry about that dog right now. Say the dog was aggressive with humans, or it's barking at the front door, and say your friends are coming over or the tradies are coming over, I can manage the dog without having to worry. The reason we need to take that worry out of it is because it takes emotion out of it. Okay, because the second this starts to happen frequently, emotions start to take over, we start to get anxious and we start to feed the dog's emotion. And where we're going to position it is going to be dependent on what the house layout is like. Okay, so we don't want them near the front door.
Yeah.
Okay, we want them somewhere like my house, for example. Say that's the front door. I've got a dog crated in the house. It's crated on that end of the house,
Oh, yeah.
so in that corner.
Yep.
So they can't always see the front door.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason for that is the front door's a trigger point, so it's a pressure point. So they know if someone comes into the house like a tradie, where are they going to come through?
Yeah.
The front door, right? So they're always watching that. So by taking them away from the front door, it de-escalates them straight away. I want you to think about, so those interactions, those reactions that you're having. So we've got the crate's going to be a management tool. Every single time the dogs are acting that way, so in that instance, they're barking at you to get something that they want. At this point, attention.
Yeah.
Okay, they want your attention, that's why they're barking at you. So they're trying to dictate what happens in your relationship again. Okay, every single time you give in to that, so say they bark at you and you go, what do you want? Oh, I'll just let you out.
Yeah.
We've rewarded the behaviour. We've also rewarded the dog for making its own decision.
Yeah.
Therefore, to the dog it's no different making that decision versus running out and biting someone on the street. It's instinct. The dog's just instinct's taking over. They can't rationalise like us, so we need to make decisions for it. And those little decisions there of creating the dog while you're not there so that you don't give the dog access to make that decision is the first starting point to you guys taking control of your relationship with the dogs. You guys with me?
Yeah. And I guess that would have to apply to everyone that's living in the house, right? So even his parents that move in.
Yeah.